Lex Pub, you got anything before we get out of here?
I want to hear you talk about the Hit Boy.
Oh shit! So Hit Boy, Salute is on. Niggas always do this, but he's producer of the year, hands down. It's not even close. Got Nas sounding like Nas again. Whatever him and Nip were working on, we can just speculate was crazy based on the records that have come out. On Sean's record, now him and Benny. Come on, bro. Like, so there's a few, shout out Lige too, because Lige is pretty honest about, yo, the Griselda shit not necessarily resonating, but this Benny Hit Boy shit is crazy. It's like, yeah, that's the luxury of a producer, right? And Hit Boy was like just getting all the praise on Twitter, and he goes, yo, like, the only time I've seen rappers cry was Nip doing his second verse of Racks in the Middle, and then Benny doing it's like the second to last song, but it's hella personal. But it outside of it being personal, it's technically a step up for them as MCs. Go back and listen to that second verse on Racks in the Middle, and what happened after he died in terms of just like prophecy and shit, and like really figuring out how to put words together. And I thought about, we had a conversation with the guys last night in terms of like what that was, and I think I'm personalizing in a way as identifying as a rapper first, where there's something to be said for when you step into the booth and it ain't no more I'm just saying shit to be saying shit, like, because it's a bunch of that. Even the Lyrical Miracle niggas is just saying shit to just say it, and it's cool, but then you hit a space where you saying shit, it's everything you want to say. It's intentional in the detail and the clarity and the nuance of language is just fucking brilliant. But it's not packaged. It's not fancy. The Racks in the Middle, second verse of Racks in the Middle is there's nothing fancy about it at all. It's just straight to the shit. And it's the most poetic thing, and it's hard to listen to now. I was telling the guys that, but it's like finding another gear. Especially when you think you the nigga, you get the praise, you all this, and it's like, no, I got another gear I can go to, I can get better, and it's gonna work. There's no stopping me now. Like, that's what I want to imagine the two of them felt, where they stepped from behind the microphone and they go, oh yeah, I cracked the code. I cracked that. It's the only thing I can think of why you would tear up. Outside of it being the song's being hell of emotional too. Nip is rapping about Fats, like, yo, I wish he was here to see everything we playing. But it also is that too. It's the joy, like, nigga, I had a plan, I stuck to it. My mantra, my brand is called the Marathon. Nigga, I ran it, I sustained it, and it worked. The process worked. Hov talks about that in his Rap Radar interview. It's like, no one ever wants to talk about the process. They want to talk about the end result and completely disregard, oh, I got the same nose you got. In fact, Hov probably got more nose than a lot of your favorite rappers. When you get time, go back and look at that priority roster. Hov was at the bottom, nigga. And go look at the names that are above him and where everybody is today. It'll make you laugh. You'll go, wait a minute. Like, y'all didn't have fucking, what's the nigga that does, the Mad Rapper above Hov? Like, like, no diss to the Mad Rapper, but Jesus Christ. Like, revisionist history will do that to you. And so what Hov is talking about is like, I got the same nose, I had to do the same work, I had to drive to the station and beg them to play my record. Like, I went through all of that. I'm Jay-Z now, but how you just gonna disregard my process for the sake of going, I want to be like that? Yeah, you show. And it feels like, because Benny would be the first one to tell you, he's not young. He's been doing this for a real long time. So them tears was real. Like, nigga, I made it. I'm not crazy for dedicating more than half my life to a pipe dream. So I thought Hit Boy sharing that moment was really, really fucking dope. And like I said, I'm personalizing it because it resonated heavy. Because there are days when I'm sitting in here, I'm going, man, why the fuck am I here today? Like, nobody's ever, like, even if they hear this music, who's gonna care for real? You can get in your head and psych yourself the fuck out. We had a dope conversation in and around the process earlier. I'm like, yo, the anxiety, like, yo, what people gonna say, man, it ain't the best, like, wanting to be perfectionist and deliver this final product, but we ain't never really gonna be a final product. Like, we're all still just figuring it out. It'll get better. The production value will get through the roof. The more access we get, the more we collaborate, all these different things. But I guess I use Hove as a reference because his ascension and the status he holds now is so poetic. And I remember niggas shit No Reasonable Doubt. Like, I'll never forget that shit. And niggas literally making fun of me, like, why you listen to that weak ass shit? And now everybody's goals is Hove. And all of the peers that were quote unquote ranked higher than him in real time was nuts to think about now. But who has the stamina? Who has the whose beings and minds are agile enough to withstand and continue to adapt and problem solve in real time? It's just not easy. So I guess that's what I'm hearing when Hit Boy says them niggas cried when they stepped out of the booth because they just stayed down. And your crews change, your production teams change. Nip was paying the lease on the building that they thought they were in the process of owning, and he built the studio in it just to have that shit sold from out under him. So now they're displaced studio wise. Like, them the type of L's niggas be taking, and you can't just tweet about that shit because you're a rapper and you got to keep it in. We almost lost this place. All this time and shit invested in here, and it's like, man, you might lose a lab. Mind you, all my shit that was at the house I sold to be able to sustain this, and now I'm fucked up. I would have been fucked up, and it wouldn't have been nobody's problem. I would have had to just figure it out and keep going, and no one would have been the wiser because I would have put out another record. Niggas would have been like, oh, it's lit. You're like, nah, bro, other shit go into it. And that's not just music. That's so many other different feats. So that's where that shit sent me to. Reading that, and it was just a tweet. It was just a tweet too.